So here is a pair of 991 New Balances, and this is basically in this sort of white grey colourway, and just basically saw these on sale, so I just wanted to sort of check them out, and never had a pair of 991s, so, and I'm into kind of the New Balance stuff at the moment, so I thought I'd grab a pair of these, and they're quite sort of nice and sort of neutral in colour. They were sort of less than half price, which is a good price to kind of get them at, and they're kind of one of the slightly more sort of later models, sort of 90s type model, and was obviously a runner at that time, and similar to I suppose in my opinion, a 990 V2, and these are sort of made in the UK, so it's a kind of a cool silhouette in my opinion. And just in general, I think I tried them on, and I think the comfortability isn't that great. I find it a bit too sort of on the sort of firmer side, and there's no sort of, even though it says it's got Abzorb in there, there's no sort of cushioning in there too much in terms of what I can feel. It feels really sort of plush and nice, like on the inside, but when I kind of put them on and compare it to sort of a 990 V2, for instance, which is kind of similar in terms of the models, I suppose, they just feel a bit kind of, like I said, a lot more firmer on foot, and kind of, I know I'd probably find them fatiguing after a while, but it's a cool looking pair with kind of the classical kind of New Balance panels on there, sort of going from sort of these kind of lines and leather panels kind of just placed on top, which I think is really cool. And it's just a nice sneaker, and you get a lot of, like I said, plushness in terms of cushioning on the inside and in the heel, and then you get like a fatter tongue as well. And basically, because they're on sale, I picked them up a half size bigger than usual, and I find the UK models to be bigger in size in my opinion, but still a nice pair. So here are the details for the New Balance 991 Dawn Blue and Star White. It comes in a Dawn Blue, Star White and Flint Grey colour scheme, and it has a Abzorb midsole cushioning, so it's basically similar to, I suppose, an Air Max 1 in that respect, so it does feel sort of similar to that, and there is a kind of enough sort of little bit of give, I suppose, in terms of for sort of impact protection on the heel side. It's using a mixture of basically Nubuck and sort of leather panels and mesh upper, and the price is £220. So in terms of the comfort and sizing, I think these are sort of more on the sort of medium to firm, so like I said earlier, they kind of feel similar to an Air Max 1. And they do have sort of good neutral support around the arch. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but it's kind of slightly more on the flatter side. And there's no wearing time with these because of the mesh upper. You're kind of good to go. And I think you can go true to your size with these. However, I would say if you have like a wide foot, you might want to sort of go up half size. And the reason I say that is just kind of I'll get a little bit of sort of tightness around the pinky toe area because it's quite a sort of narrow silhouette. And I think this has sort of good traction for a runner compared to a sort of 990 V2. It's got better traction in my opinion, and maybe it's a slightly newer model, I think. In terms of the look and style, it's got sort of neutral colours. It's nice, sort of simple and easy to wear. Mainly sort of white and bits of grey on there. And it's good for sort of the spring, summertime for that reason. And you can kind of dress these up casual and smart casual because they've got the kind of retro sort of runner vibes. There's not too much sort of going on, and the panels are quite sort of solid kind of blocks, and it's not sort of a busy sneaker. So in that respect, it's kind of sort of stood the test of time and sort of can be used more as a lifestyle sneaker. And basically, they kind of have sort of white laces anyway, but you could also put in grey or sail laces. So in terms of the pros, I like the fact that it's got sort of the nice materials on there. They kind of got a good choice of materials. So there's a little bit of sort of cracked leather on the heel, and then sort of the Nubuck material, which is really sort of soft to the touch. And that's why I sort of say, you know, with New Balance in general, they do sort of great quality materials. And in terms of the cons, I think it's just the cost. I think for these types of trainers, I know they're using sort of nicer materials, but the price is really high at $220. I'm not sure who's going to be paying that, but they are very high, and it takes a certain die-hard sort of New Balance fan to sort of pay that price. And also notice sort of loose threads in and around the sneaker, sort of near the panels, and there's quite a few on there, which is kind of un-New Balance like really. And like I said earlier, in terms of the comfort, I've got a little tightness around the pinky toe, which I didn't experience in the 990 V2s, but with this one, because it just feels slightly more narrow on the pinky toe side, it kind of will have a bit of tightness around it. But I'm sure with any sort of other New Balance, it tends to sort of loosen up over time. So in terms of the ratings, I get the look and style of 4 out of 5. I think it's a really sort of nice, sort of neutral looking sneaker, and like I said, it's got very sort of the retro vibes on there. And in terms of comfort, I give it a 3. I don't think there's anything special going on, and it's very much similar to an Air Max 1 in my opinion. And the quality, I give that a 4. I think it's a nicely made sneaker, and it's just probably the loose rating that kind of sort of throwing me off. And the pricing, I give that a 3. I think at £220, it's a lot of money to ask for this type of trainer. I think it should be priced more sort of the £140 to £150 mark if they're using sort of nicer materials. But if they're not using nicer materials, then they should be actually lower than that. And then overall, I give it a 4 out of 5. I still think it's a nice sneaker and a nice sort of easy to wear one. And especially sort of if you're in the sort of older sort of category, then this is probably a good one to sort of rock and basically feel your age.